What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 5 team builder for the NCL Season 2 or the Nambasa City League. This week we are taking on my good buddy Austin and the Atlanta Staraptors. We are currently 2-0 against Austin lifetime, beating him in NCL Season 1 in a 5-0 win there, and taking a 6-0 win off of him during the D&D Season 6 elimination bracket. He was my second round opponent in the playoffs. Technically, no, I guess third round because I ended up losing out in the second round and then went down to the thingy then. Anyways, yeah, let's run through his team though. He's got Victini, Gliscor, Tangrowth, Empoleon, Cryogonal, Haunter, Mega Altaria, Raikou, Keldeo, Zoroark, and Ferroseed. He has priority options in Victini with Quick Attack, Empoleon with Aqua Jet, Cryogonal with Ice Shard, Haunter with Sucker Punch, Raikou with Extreme Speed, Keldeo with Aqua Jet, and Zoroark with Sucker Punch. So quite a few weird priority options, none of which he would really ever use except for Zoroark, Empoleon, and Keldeo for the most part. He has Hazard Setters in Gliscor, Empoleon, and Ferroseed, all with Stealth Rocks, and Ferroseed also with Spikes. He has removal options in Gliscor, Empoleon, Cryogonal, Mega Altaria with Defog, and Cryogonal with Rapid Spin. And he has two 4x weaknesses, Gliscor to Ice and Ferroseed to Fire. Unfortunately, Ferroseed, being able to have the Eviolite means that random HP fires don't really kill it, so it's not the most efficient thing to bring that, and I'm not bringing Rotom Heat, as you can see, so we're not really focusing on that, despite the fact that his team is actually fairly weak to fire. Yeah, let's talk about Austin a little bit as a battler. He's improved a lot since he first started, that's for sure. I've been playing Draft League with him since UPBA Season 1. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was the season we won the championship. He ended up taking over a team that we had beaten, which was very rare at the beginning of that season. We had a very rough start to that season. And yeah, so we've been friends ever since, pretty much. But Austin's had historically a bad time of beating his friends. He was undefeated, or he hadn't had a win until the beginning of the month, I believe, when he took down Magic in week 2 of the NCL, and then he took down Cade in week 3 of the NCL, and then he took down Jed in week 2 of Waylord, and now he's coming for me. He's coming for blood, and I don't want to lose. I really don't want to lose, especially after our defeat at the hands of Ben this past week in week 4. I was pretty disappointed in myself. I actually could have made... If I'd made the read on Mega Scizor coming in on Alolan Ninetales the second time instead of Blizzarding the second time, then I won that game. I'm fairly sure that I won that game, actually, because Ninetales, as soon as Gengar was chipped a little bit, as long as I could handle Gengar with other things on my team, Ninetales beat his team by spamming Blizzard. And unfortunately, I didn't make it happen. So, we're coming into this last in the division. Austin's second in the division because him and Ben are both undefeated at 4-0, and I kind of want to ruin that. I want to make him 4-1. Not because I'm a bad friend, but because I want my pound of flesh after losing. So that's what we're going to be playing for. On his team, I'm not expecting Gliscor, Tangrowth, or Haunter to come. Tangrowth and Gliscor are both very maybes. Haunter, I don't know how much sense that makes. He could bring it to beat Mew, maybe? But at the same time, Mew outspeeds it. So he would have to be Scarf, and Scarf Haunter doesn't look that good against my team. I don't know. It just really doesn't look that great against my team overall. Because I have a really reliable switch into Sludge Wave in Alolan Sandslash. I'm immune to it if he's locked into that. And if he wants to lock himself into Shadow Ball, I've got Bulletproof Kommo-o. So I have 2 immunities right there. Plus, I could have brought Alolan Raticate to just be completely immune to the Shadow Ball as well. Oh well. Sylveon was it-ish. Haunter's not really that strong either, so it's sort of more of a pick-off mon. Gliscor and Tangrowth is because I've got a lot to deal with them. Gliscor, my Hail Core, blows it back. Absolutely bodies it. I have a lot of stuff that learns Ice Beam just naturally. Mew and Melodic both carry Ice Beam very typically. Superior can just boost on it. It can't really touch Superior unless he's running an Acrobatic set or he U-turns out on it. And if he U-turns out, then I get a free Leaf Storm up. So, again, Same thing with Gliscor. Gliscor really doesn't make any sense against my team. Empoleon makes a lot of sense against my team, but Gliscor doesn't. And then Tangrowth, again, Hail Core blows it back. Rotom Heat blows it back. Superior can boost on it for days. Boost on it, boost on it, boost on it, and then HP Fire it to death. Mega Pinsir beats Tangrowth. Tangrowth does get Rock Slide, so if it's coming, I'm expecting he's going to bring in Assault Vest for variant with Rock Slide, specifically for my Mega Pinsir, because he doesn't have a lot for Mega Pinsir, to be honest with you. Raikou is his best bet, or like Scarf Victini? Those are kind of like what I think are his best bets to beat my Mega Pinsir. Keldeo, maybe? So, you know, it's sort of, I don't know, like he doesn't really have a lot for Mega Pinsir when you look at his team. I'm expecting Victini. Empoleon Cragganol makes a lot of sense because he can actually get his own Veil with Cragganol, which is something we have to be worried about in the game. Kind of have to maybe deal with Cragganol. If it comes, then I have to deal with it before I bring Ninetales in, I think. If it doesn't come, then I have no worries at all about that because nothing else on his team gets Aurora Veil. Mega Altaria is coming for sure. There's really no reason for him not to bring Mega Altaria against me. He can, once he gets a few Dragon Dances up, he can basically sweep my team. A special variant would be okay, but at the same time, I could also bring Soundproof Kommo-o, and so I'm not really anticipating a special variant. And if he does bring a special variant, I'm definitely thinking he's going to bring Moonblast over Hyper Voice. It makes zero sense to bring Hyper Voice against a Kommo-o team. And Austin, if you're watching this team builder after the match and you brought Hyper Voice Mega Altaria, I don't know what you're thinking. I'm going to tell you straight up that was a misplay. I don't care if I won or lost this match. There is no reason that you should ever bring Hyper Voice Mega Altaria when you know the opponent could bring Soundproof Kommo-o. That was a hard misplay. Raikou, I think, is coming. Keldeo, I think, is absolutely coming. And Keldeo is probably going to be Scarf. Zoroark, I also think, is coming. Ferroseed, I think, is coming. Unfortunately, I just named off 8 things. So he's going to have to choose 6 of those 8, which I benefit from. I'm actually not bringing Soundproof Kommo-o, and there's a reason for that. But Soundproof Kommo-o is also good against his team. It was a really tough decision to go between the two of them, and I ended up deciding on one that I think is going to be better for my side this match. But he has to play around me being Soundproof Kommo-o because he can't find out, or he won't be able to find out until I boost it, is essentially what it comes down to. And at +1, I can wreck his Mega Altaria. That's kind of the play. So anyways, let's get into my team then. First up, we're bringing defensive Mew. Snowcone's coming again, obviously. Mew's probably coming to every single match. It may not come to all of them, but it's probably coming to most of them. Yeah, defensive Mew, I don't know. Like, this does a lot. It's my main switch into Victini, especially if he wants to U-turn, then he's going to take Rocky Helmet Chip. It's a decent switch into things like Gliscor, decent switch into... It's a decent switch into physical Mega Altaria as well, and I'm actually just going to change this because I know that I had this on here, but it really makes no sense to run this when I could be running something else. So I was going to put Ice Beam on here over Knockoff, and we're going to change this to Bold and move it to Special Attack. Okay, so we're changing that up. Yeah, anyways, Stealth Rocks are good against his team. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm going to try and pressure him so that he doesn't have a chance to defog, because I think that he's going to bring defog or Brick Break on Victini would make a lot of sense as well, but I think that he would want to run defog on Empoleon or something to get rid of my Veil. Although if he's wasting a turn defogging when I have Veil up, then that's probably better for me. We've got Reese for some recovery so that Mew can keep switching in over and over again. I've got Super Fang on there to have the health of a lot of things on his team. And I've got Ice Beam now on there to deal with Gliscor, because this is a very easy switch into Gliscor, and it's a very easy switch into the Altaria as well. If he's physical Altaria, then Ice Beam is going to do a lot. Fully physically defensive with a little bit of special attack investment, which you just saw that I changed. Initially, I had Knockoff on here, thinking that it would be better, and I'm realizing that Ice Beam is actually a much better play. So that's what we're doing with Mew. Oh, excuse me. So Mew's our physical wall, and then our special wall this week is going to be Melodic. We're bringing Turner. The Melodic with Scald, Recover, Ice Beam, and Mirror Coat. Mirror Coat is there in case Raikou gets a hit off on me. If I'm in on Melodic and he goes Raikou and he's not Choice Specs, actually I think I live a Choice Specs hit. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to run the calc again. But anyways, if I'm at full health and he brings in Raikou, like let's say he, I don't know, U-turns with Gliscor on me or something. It's probably not doing a whole lot of damage. And he goes into Raikou. I get my leftovers recovery back. The Raikou goes for hit. I can Mirror Coat it and kill it. This is also my reliable check to the Keldeo, and I can Mirror Coat the Keldeo. It's going to do a lot of damage to the Keldeo. I don't know if I can Mirror Coat the Zoroark because it's a Psychic attack. So we'll see about that. But this is also my check to a special Zoroark if he brings that. Obviously, I won't be able to know what it's going to be. And if I was him, I would disguise it as Tangrowth. That's how I would play it. I believe he has to bring Sludge Bomb with him this week to be able to deal with Sylveon. Otherwise, Sylveon completely hard walls the Zoroark. Even if he's physical, Sylveon just does a remarkable job at that. In fact, Sylveon was something I was considering to bring because he really doesn't have a lot for Sylveon, to be honest with you. Ferroseed and Empoleon are pretty much his only answers to a Sylveon, and I don't think he's bringing both. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to bring both to me. Anyways, that's Melodic. Scald Recover, I don't know, Scald is a good stab. Get the burn on things could be really useful, especially if I can burn the Gliscor or something before he gets Toxic Orb off. Recover is pretty standard, and I'll want some regeneration abilities. Especially defensive, I just kind of toned it down a little bit to get some special attack investment in there as well, because I wanted to be a little bit more offensive, kind of. Like, to an extent, you know. But there's no real rhyme or reason why I have this EV spread. It's just kind of random. Next up, we're bringing Sophie, which, you know, there's an order that I do these things in. Otherwise, I would have had Ninetales before the Melodic because it's Sophie Turner. Bring Icy Rock with Snow Warning, Blizzard, Aurora Veil, Encore, and Moonblast. So I don't have a long Aurora Veil, but I have got a lot of Hail turns for the Sand Slash, which you see there. It's kind of a mix of both that I wanted to go for here, and it's going to be a challenge to see how I'm going to be able to do this, but I ended up deciding on the Icy Rock because I think Sand Slash is going to be in a position to sweep reasonably early, and I'd rather have more Hail turns than less. Yeah, Blizzard's good spam against this team, really. I mean, it OHKOs Gliscor. It's going to do a hell of a lot of damage to the Altaria. It's doing a lot of damage to Tangrowth. OHKOing Haunter, doing a lot to the Raikou, doing a lot to the Zoroark. Excuse me. And it's doing a lot to the Ferroseed. I'm hoping... I don't know. I'm hoping I can catch the Ferroseed locked into rocks and then Encore it, which is what Encore is there for, and then be able to set up a Veil and get into something for free. Or set up a Veil at the very least and then go into something else to be able to tank ahead and set up. We'll talk about the setup in a sec here. Moonblast is there. What's Moonblast there for? I think it's there for the Keldeo, because Keldeo can switch in on Blizzard pretty easily. He'd be scared of the Freeze Dry, so I'm not sure if he would switch in on me, but that's what Moonblast is there for. HP Fire with no special attack investments, doing like 30% to the Ferroseed, and I don't really care about that. I'd rather have Moonblast there for the Zoroark as well. And if for some reason I run out of Hail, I can Moonblast the Altaria. That's pretty much there. Running a lot of speed in here, enough to outrun the Keldeo. Max HP lets us actually live a Scarf Hydro Pump. I would imagine Max HP actually makes us live a Specs Hydro Pump. And Specs I'm outrunning, so that's kind of cool. And a little bit in Special Attack. I didn't really know where else to put it. I could have put it in Spidef, but it doesn't really matter. That's the Ninetales. So next up is our Hail Sweeper, Alolan Sand Slash. Reynolds is coming again, came in week 1, coming this week. Bringing Ground EMZ this time with Icicle Crash, Iron Head, Earthquake, and Swords Dance. He's got a choice on the Empoleon. I don't actually have a Ground type, but I do have a Fighting type. Sorry, I do have a Ground type now, actually I have Stunfisk. But he's going to have to choose between Chople and Shuka on the Empoleon. That's really his choice, is bring Chople or Shuka this week. And I'm not entirely sure which one he's going to choose. So, I've got the Icicle Crash, Iron Head, Earthquake, and Swords Dance on this one. Fightinium Z on Alolan Sand Slash wasn't doing a whole lot. Fightinium Z, Brick Break wasn't doing a whole lot, and then Focus Punch has such a high base power already that Z Focus Punch wasn't doing a lot except just getting the hit off. So I ended up going with Earthquake. We've got the SD on there to be able to set up behind the Veil, and then Icicle Crash my way to victory, hopefully. Iron Head is there if I need to flinch stuff. I mean, it's going to hit the Cryogonal and the Mega Altaria really, really well. Hopefully, Iron Head will be enough to hit the Mega Altaria and I won't have to Icicle Crash it. Earthquake is there for the other things, namely the Raikou and the Empoleon and the Victini. Ferroseed really needs to be weakened before I can start sweeping with this, because I can't do a whole lot to the Ferroseed. And a Gyro Ball is going to do a hell of a lot to me when I'm in the Hail. max attack, and I'm running a lot of speed on here. This is so that I can outspeed Scarfictini. So if he brings Scarfictini, which I think that he might, um, to outrun Mega Pinsir potentially. Otherwise, Mega Pinsir kind of just like knocks Victini around with return, and he can like Scarfy create or whatever. He could even be special against my team. It would make kind of some sense for him to be special. I mean, it doesn't really make that big of a difference, but special with like D-Gleam for Kommo-o, Blue Flare, U-Turn, and maybe Thunderbolt for my Melodic. I eat Thunderbolts with Melodic, by the way, which means Melodic Hardwall is a special Victini. But yeah, so a special Victini would make a lot of sense, but I'm outrunning Scarf Victini, so if I even need to just nuke it with Ground EMZ, then that's the play. Sandslash doesn't necessarily have to be the endgame sweeper for me this game. It could also be a mid-game breaker, and that's kind of what we're going for there. A little bit of bulk, just enough to make it Stealth Rocks friendly, which doesn't really matter because I'm neutral to Stealth Rocks, so it kind of matters. And then 1 point defense. Next up, we'll bring Thanos, our Mega Pinsir, with Moxie. Bringing Moxie in case I can get a close combat off on the Empoleon. I mean, 125 base attack is pretty respectable, honestly, from just regular Pinsir. And so if I can close combat the Empoleon, and then I'm a +1 attack Mega Pinsir, then I won't have need to click Sword Stance, which would be really cool, because I'd rather not waste a turn clicking Sword Stance when I can be blown back by something, you know. Close combat on the Cryogonal as well would be really cool, although I'm gonna be slower than it. That's kind of the play there. Return, it hits his team ridiculously hard. He's got a decent flying weakness for sure. And Quick Attack is there to pick things off late game. I can potentially pick off like a Scarf Keldeo with a Quick Attack. Fairly easy actually. Keldeo is not that bulky, and it's not going to want to take that Quick Attack. Picks off things like Scarf Zoroark, Mega Altaria if it's boosted, Victini if it's Scarf. I don't know. It's not really doing. I'm not really doing a whole lot to Raikou. I have to be careful about that. If he brings the Raikou, I can't really count on Mega Pinsir to do anything to the Raikou because it's gonna outspeed me, and I'm not bringing Earthquake, so I can't catch him switching in on me. Although it's a decent enough switch in for him, he's definitely not gonna risk it until he finds out that I don't have Earthquake on the set. Running max speed on here. Once we Mega Evolve, we'll hit base 105 speed, which lets us speed tie with Zoroark and Cryogonal if they're running max speed, which they probably will be. Running max attack, and the last point into defense because we're Stealth Rock weak Mon, and I want to have a nice odd number for that. Last but not least is Kommo-o or Rebar, bringing in offensive Kommo-o this week with Bulletproof. This is specifically designed for the Pharaoh Seed because Gyro Ball cannot hit me because of Bulletproof. Gyro Ball doesn't work. What's also cool is that we can switch in on Shadow Balls very, very freely. He's got a couple things that could fire off Shadow Balls. It's basically his best way to hit Mew if he's a special Victini, and Haunter would spam Shadow Ball against my team fairly freely. So Bulletproof is pretty good. I think there's something from Tangrowth we can hit. We can eat Energy Balls. I don't know if he's got Energy Ball or anything else. There's a few really cool moves that Bulletproof blocks, and so that's kind of the goal there. I can switch on a Sludge Bomb from the Zoroark and set up on it for free, to be honest, because Zoroark can't touch me. I don't believe that it gets Dazzling Gleam, and you can't run Sludge Bomb with Extra Sensory. I think Sludge Bomb makes a lot more sense for him than to bring Extra Sensory. I think that he shouldn't really stay in on Kommo. Close Combat, Earthquake, Dragon Dance, and Ice Punch. This is enough to clean sweep his team. Given the Shuka Berry is popped on the Empoleon, given that I'm +1, and given that his Tangrowth is weakened, if he's physically defensive Tangrowth. That's pretty much all there is to it. Close Combat does a hell of a lot to so many things. Earthquake hits the Raikou and the Victini, and Ice Punch is there for the Gliscor and the Mega Altaria. Obviously, Earthquake and Close Combat can't hit the Haunter, but +1 Ice Punch is a roll to kill, so after rocks, it's definitely killing Haunter. Yeah, running Jolly 216 speed, which lets us outrun Mega Altaria, so Mega Altaria, we're outspeeding always, unless he's boosted, then I'm in a really bad spot, because he's probably going to have return and kill me. Max attack, a little bit of HP investment. This was originally a Scarf set, which I ended up scrapping, because I didn't need 4 coverage moves to hit him, to hit his team, and so I ended up going with Dragon Dance Lumberry, just in case I get burnt by the Empoleon, or frozen by the Empoleon, or something like that. Empoleon's actually free setup fodder for me if his Shuka's popped. Well, it doesn't really matter, but I kind of have to gamble on that because, again, like I said, he has to be Shuka or Chople, and I'm running both moves that would take advantage of that, so we'll sort of have to deal with that as it comes. So you'll notice that I'm not bringing any pivot options, which is very strange for me. I love running pivot, and pivot is my favorite thing about Draft League format, to be honest, pivoting into things to win. I'm not bringing any pivot options. I decided to go against running U-turn on the Mew, even though it would be decent for me. I just ended up not going for it. I don't really know if it's going to be that useful for me. I feel like it's just going to end up being Ninetales coming in, setting a Veil, me um, switching into something to abuse the Veil that I can set up behind, take 2 hits, set up, and then start sweeping or breaking or something like that. Kommo-o would be my late game sweeper if I had one, and then Sandslash and Pinsir mid game breakers. This is the most setup I brought the entire season. I believe this is only like the second time that I'm even bringing Veil, so we'll sort of see how it goes. I've probably talked way too long. In fact, I've definitely talked way too long. This is already 20 minutes. Anyways, I will catch you guys for the match, and good luck to me. Bad luck to Austin. That's pretty much all there is to it.